We're about to enter a realm of redundancy, where a podcast can happen once, twice, even 3 times, especially when it's about television shows and new seasons. Be sure to hold your mother's hand, because you're about to get lost in the funhouse.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Lost in the Funhouse with Greg Bow
and Blondie.
And a scarecrow.
Well, tonight is a very special episode of Lost in the Funhouse. Normally we start off with what Neil and I have come to call Blondie's correction of the week. Because, Blondie's coming in there making a correction or whatever. But we've got a really big correction this week.
Some might say huge.
Huge in nature. Let's see. Anybody who downloaded and listened to the last episode, which we hope everyone has, Blondie was really excited.
Thank you for listening, by the way.
Yes,
thanks for listening.
If you didn't, go back and listen to that.
Oh, yes, definitely do. It will be interesting.
Because if you do that, this episode will be that much funnier.
And make sense. But,
that too.
Maybe. But it will be funnier, we guarantee.
That's very true. We don't promise anything here.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Especially making sense.
No. So Blondie came to us and said, I want to do a Veronica Mars episode. Because Blondie and I really, like we talked about in the last episode, we really love Veronica Mars, love the TV show.
And I'm like, okay, whatever you guys want.
That's exactly right. So anyway, we got all set up to do this. Blondie sat me down. We started watching reruns, old episodes of Veronica Mars to get me back up to speed. Blondie's always, little did I know
how big this was going to be.
This is an epic caper here. So anyway, Blondie decides, hey, I'm going to go do all this research. I really want to do a really thorough, in-depth episode on Veronica Mars and let everybody know.
Because the new series is coming out.
Boy, was it. So we told you guys since the beginning that we were going to let you guys behind the curtain and see the craziness that goes on.
The wizard.
Yeah, the wizard. This whole situation with the Veronica Mars episode.
I'll never, ever do another time-sensitive.
Oh, no, you won't.
Date-sensitive.
Absolutely not.
Subject again.
Blondie had researched everything about Veronica Mars. Try to bring me up to speed, Neil up to speed, as much as somebody who has never seen the show could be brought up to speed.
I know, Neil.
And boy, I got more than I bargained for.
Yes, you got drug along. It was the podcast so nice, we recorded it twice.
Thrice.
Yes, well, technically. So basically what happened is we got through and we sat down and we did the podcast. We normally record on middle of the week Wednesdays.
And it was great.
It really was. It was a great episode.
Energy was up. Everyone was having a good time.
It was excellent.
And then.
On the way home, she's kind of questioning herself a little bit, talking to me.
No, we shouldn't have done that. Or maybe I can get Neil to edit that out. And
the next morning.
Neil and I awoke
to a bullet point text message
from Blondie
of everything she wanted to redo, not edit, mind you, but I want to redo this
once more with feeling,
which really meant let's just do the whole thing from the ground up.
Yeah.
And that's what we had to do.
So we had
to scuttle around, get over here, re-record it on Thursday night, the following night, and try to recoup some of that same energy.
And you could tell the two of them did not have the same energy. I'm still excited because Veronica Mars is still coming out.
And she was so excited, and she had the date, and she had researched everything.
Everything.
Yes, because
every detail.
Yeah, the whole
thing. You should see
thing.
this notebook.
Yes, the whole thing was it was supposed to. We were going to record, and then the episode was going to come out on Wednesday before the series came out. I had it planned that this is the way that we were going to,
OCD, cost accounting in action.
Yes. I had it all planned, but there was a few things we needed to change because
it wasn't up to Blondie's snuff.
Clearly. Yeah.
Well, I knew there was one thing we had to cut out, and then another thing we were talking about comicon that was going to be the very next weekend, which would have already happened, by the time the podcast came out.
Go ahead and pull out your slide rule to keep up with everything she just said, because you can see she's already all over the place.
But I said we're gonna have to take that part out, and I can't remember what the other thing was.
All kind of stuff.
But then we were like, oh well, we just need to.
I wasn't
record that
cheerful
again.
enough.
Hey, I did not say that, but I did
Neil
say
didn't
that the
wear a
second.
special hat. I mean, all kind of stuff,
Right.
crazy stuff.
The second time I was telling them, I was like, y'all didn't have the same energy you had the first time. And they were like, but it's the second time
We're
we've heard
tired.
it.
We're tired. We've already done this before.
Right, it's Veronica, it's Mars. Yeah, we get it.
So, anyway, so we recorded it Thursday night. Okay.
Again.
And then,
This is the second time.
when was it? Friday night? We were sitting there.
So, yeah, Friday night, we're sitting and we're watching still old episode. No, it was Saturday night.
Okay,
But-
no. Here's the deal. We're sitting Saturday night at my house, and Misty's like, hey, let's continue watching Veronica Mars and everything. And I was all in for it
The
because I
old
love the
episodes,
show.
because
The old
I'm
episodes.
catching up because it's been a while
Season
since we
one.
saw them.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
We're sitting there, and all of a sudden I realized Blondie got quiet, and she's like really into her phone, and I'm like, "What are you looking at?" A friend of mine posted something about Veronica Mars Series 4.
and on the other side of town, I'm looking at my phone. I should probably turn this off,
That would have been wise.
right?
Always go with the gut.
Yeah,
Always
I'm
go with the gut.
I'm gonna get a message about something or a call about something. It's
A
gonna have
bullet
to-
list.
A bullet list is gonna have to be redone or something.
Yep.
So I'm like, you know what? If my phone's off, I don't see it. Out of sight, out of mind.
No, a friend of mine
Whoopsies.
posted on Facebook about the season 4 and about she couldn't believe about the ending. And I'm like, wait a minute. It's not supposed to come out until the next Friday. Our episode that we just recorded, our podcast, hasn't come out yet. I'm like, what? So I start
She's all upset.
researching and trying to find out. I'm like, well, how did
Now she's researching after 2 podcasts.
So I'm like, how did she already see season 4? So I'm looking online and come to find out that at San Diego Comic-Con, they had a panel with all of the people from Veronica Mars, and they decided to go ahead and release Veronica Mars a week early, which means
Completely spoiled Blondie's plan.
my podcast that's going to come out the next Wednesday after the fact is telling everybody that it's going to be out on the 26th.
Well, how dare
I
the
know.
cast and crew of Veronica Mars
They just ruined
do
my whole
that to ruin
podcast.
your podcast dreams?
I know. So I told Greg Bow, I said, we've got to call Neil and we've got to tell him
And what did I say? I said, you're going to have to tell him.
explaining this.
Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Scarecrow gets a phone call.
So I was going to tell him that, Neil, we need to get together and record again because some things have
Is that
changed.
you breaking it? What? I got really bad, sir.
Absolutely. And so I have been mercilessly,
Oh, he's been aggravating me about
oh,
this.
yes. Oh, to say the least.
And I researched it
Can I
and
get a raise?
everything. I was like, there was no way we could have known. We recorded it on that Wednesday. We re-recorded it on Thursday, and then on Friday
Like,
they
you
have
should
the
see
panel.
this notebook with all these notes.
She carries it
Hey,
everywhere.
Yes, because I'm always making notes of things we need to
We
talk
know.
about.
We know because we get those notes in a nice long bullet list.
Every morning.
Yes.
But I do have to say that if you listen to the Veronica Mars, where and here I go again to the ums.
Here she goes again. So this is what, take 5? Yeah.
No, if you listen to it, I just thought about something new that you can do with the episode because after I listened to it, and here I go again.
Is this a redaction? Is this what we-
Yes.
No, I'm just going to give some people some ideas, of other things you can use the podcast for, because apparently I'm kind of new at recording my voice. And you know how when you don't
are.
ever listen to your voice, you really don't know how you talk, and I guess I get a little nervous sometimes. So
She does.
through that whole podcast, when I listened to it, I realized how many times I say and how many times I was giggling and laughing. So if you want a really good drinking game, listen to the podcast, and every time I say or laugh, just take a shot, and by the end, you won't know who or where you are.
Wrong. At the end, you will be dead.
Yeah.
The human body cannot consume that much alcohol.
That quickly.
No.
Or I have another idea. If you're not a drinker and you want to be, get in.
You want to be a drinker.
No, if you're not a drinker and you want to get in shape, here's another idea. Every time I say do a jumping jack. And every time I giggle or laugh, do a push up. By the end of the podcast,
You'll be ready for the triathlon in a week.
And you'll hate us.
Yes.
And by us, I mean Blondie.
Yes. The proverbial us.
it's going to be more and more noticeable now that I realize I'm doing it.
You're making yourself do it.
Right. And I take a lot of them out.
That's so bad.
So imagine how many there would have been.
So
You should see
maybe,
the recycling bin. It's full.
so maybe I
They don't
should,
make enough alcohol or
maybe I
jumping
should get
jacks.
down and do the jumping jacks, and every time I say it, maybe, and then I'll stop.
Yeah, it'll take us about 6 weeks to complete
Do
a
a
podcast.
podcast. But I'll be in good shape.
Yeah.
So anyway, the story of my adventure. I have a new app on my phone. Not sponsored at all, but if you want to, you can reach out to us.
Well, I doubt they will after your story.
Yeah,
but
after
go
my
ahead.
story. But yeah, there's an app on that you can get on the phone, and
We'll get an email
it's
asking her to stop using it.
but it's a navigation, and you can change the voices, and one of the voices that you can get is Cookie Monster.
Now, I ride down the road with her to Cons, and she played this for me all the way to a con. And
It's
it was hilarious for the first 5 minutes. Then after that, I'm trying to listen to podcasts, music, whatever. And all of a sudden, right in the middle of it, Cookie
Yeah,
Monster pops up.
He's like over and over telling us about police ahead and construction and hazard in the road, and
Do you think the police would like a cookie?
oh yeah, he did. He said that. He truly did say that. So it was hilarious. But I was by myself one day, and I had to go to Joann's Fabric, so I had turned on the app to
Cookie Monster.
yeah, the Cookie Monster
How
app.
did you not know how to get to Joann's Fabric? You practically live over there buying stuff.
I know,
That
but
is true.
I know, but I turned it on because I was playing with the app, and
Of course.
I wanted to listen to Cookie Monster
She was
because I had
entertaining herself.
yes, because I had just got the app and I wanted to listen to Cookie Monster tell me how to get to Joann's Fabrics. So I pull into the parking lot and I park, and I forgot to turn off the app, and I had the phone in my hand, and I walk into Joann's Fabrics, and it's just like super quiet in there, and as soon as I walk through the doors, I hear
Made it to destination. That's great. Let's celebrate with cookie. Num 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 num.
Oh my gosh.
so immediately I'm like, shut up, shut up, shut up.
You probably look like
Everybody-
the most insane person. An escaped mental patient.
Yeah, so everybody's just kind of looking over at me, and I'm just like, yay!
If y'all see Blondie at a con, come up to her and go,
Yeah.
that's how you get her attention.
Or bring me cookies.
Let's celebrate.
Either one.
Nah, just go, give me a Neil cookies. We're the ones that have to put up with her.
Right? I'm hungry.
No,
Num 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 num.
cookies.
I don't care what they are. I'm hungry. What? Look at me.
You're always hungry.
Need a cookie.
Thank you.
You need a tree out in the back with a Keebler elf
I do.
tossing cookies to you.
I do. So send cookies care of Lost in the Funhouse.
Yes.
He'll eat them.
I'll consider eating them.
We'll see.
But speaking of the last con that we did,
Oh,
Be a
Be
Hero.
a Hero, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we were both there. It was a lot of people were there,
A lot of people were there.
and they had an ice cream truck that was the size of a school bus.
right?
Oh, that was pretty cool.
So how was that?
Dipping
Very
Dots.
good.
I know you went.
I did.
She did.
I had ice cream for lunch.
She was elbowing a couple little kids out of the way to get the Dippin' Dots. An insane turkey woman has boarded our bus and stealing ice cream. Film at 11. The standoff continues.
Towhead turkey.
What?
Towhead turkey. Here we go with
Towhead
the
turkey.
Here we go with the towhead again.
What you were trying to make? This is
You
almost like
cannot
in
make-
Star Wars,
What
where
is
they
it?
were trying to make Wizard a thing.
What is a towhead?
I don't know what a towhead
Reply
is.
in the comments and tell Greg, Bo, and Blondie what a towhead is.
Tell us what a towhead is, because
Yeah.
apparently I
well,
don't know.
are we going to say, or are we going to have this as a contest?
We're going to have this as a contest.
First person to put in the comments what a towhead is. First person to let us know.
Contact us.
Whatever it is,
What is a towhead?
and Neil confirms it because apparently it's in his imagination. What do they win?
We'll give them a button set.
All right, we'll give you a button set.
Sweet.
So we got to find out what this is, though.
Yeah.
So this is contest time.
Contest time.
So yeah, the Be a Hero,
Yeah.
the Comic-Con.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun.
Yes,
We performed Rock
Oh,
the House.
yeah, rocked
was
the house.
awesome. Played some of your new
was great.
songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tramping Ground and Little Green Men.
I love when
that
y'all were doing a
song.
shout out to me.
Really?
I love when y'all were doing a shout out to me from the stage and y'all kept
Yeah.
hollering over towards my booth.
I know. And you're just like, what's going on?
And I was on the other side of the building
Right.
walking towards you, remember?
No.
Yeah.
I thought you were
wa-
at your table.
No. I was
Oh.
like waving
Oh.
and y'all didn't see me and y'all kept talking to my booth.
Yeah, I'm waving
I'm like,
at
who
your
is he
booth.
talking to?
I see
know,
Blondie over there,
I
and she's like,
wave.
yeah, whatever. You know, and I'm like,
Did a
"Where's-"
little queen wave.
Yeah.
Hello.
No, gosh. No, I got up and I was walking through the door coming back
Yeah, I
in.
didn't even. I was.
And I heard my name
Yeah.
and I shouted, whoa, or whatever, and
Oh, that was you that shouted that.
that was me.
Oh, wow.
was me.
I thought that was. I thought that was a girl that shouted.
Yeah. Okay. Back to what teenage girl problems from the previous podcast. I was not a
Yes.
teenage girl.
Teenage girl problems, problems of a teenage girl.
Didn't have teenage girl problems.
To be fair, a lot of people were hollering, so
Yes, they were. Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, you had some rowdy people down there
yeah, it
getting
was a lot of
involved,
fun.
which is always cool.
Shock Memory helps you relieve gas trapped in your brain so you can think clearly. The only known medically proven relief from brain farts. Don't do all that research to find out you're a week late. Just simply plug it into the wall, put the prongs in your ear, and let it zap the gas. That's it. Shock Your Memory, found at your local drugstores everywhere. Another fine product from the National Establishment for Real Diseases Nerds.
But we do have to talk about some odd comments that we did here at the con, because I can think of two right off the bat that,
Oh boy, here we go.
yeah, I mean, you always hear new things, and it's not that they're bad things. It's just things
Odd.
it's things we've never heard before. So it
Things
kind
that
of
make you go,
yeah, and
Where am I?
Some of them make you question your existence.
That is very true.
Yeah.
so one of them that I really liked was somebody was looking through the prints, and they went through every one of the prints, made a couple of comments, and then after they got through and they were fixing to walk off, they're like, I'm good right now, but thanks, guys.
Yeah. I'm like, what was that? I've never heard that in my entire career.
I'm good right now, but thanks.
Yeah, just hey guys, I'm good right now, but thank you. And walked off, and I'm okay.
Right.
Man, how do you respond to that? This is crazy.
Was I
All right.
offering you something?
I know.
Yeah.
Like you sure I can't get you a drink?
Right.
A pillow, perhaps? I mean,
I'm the merchant here.
yeah.
Like,
One of the strangest things, not the strangest thing I've ever heard, but up there. It was just odd.
Yeah, but the other one we heard, I don't know. Do we want to go there?
I can turkey it out if you
You
want me
turkey
to.
it.
If you want me to.
Yeah, we may have to turkey that one out.
Yeah, we'll just turkey that one out. Because I don't know how that will go over. But some other interesting things that you hear at the con.
Who, me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh. One of the
about-
most common is like when somebody comes up and says, and they're looking at my work, and I'm sitting there, pencil in hand.
Did you draw these?
Yes. Did I draw these? And I always try to come up with some kind of weird answer like, no, magical fairies.
I mean, do
drew
you
them,
get
or,
someone come up to your booth and say,
Is this
Did-
you?
did,
Are these
Did you
your
sing?
CDs?
did you sing this?
Right.
Would be the same thing. It would be the same
Did
thing.
you play that?
Sure didn't.
It'd be the same thing if
Which
you were
one? This?
in the middle of a
Nope,
set
not me.
on stage playing, and somebody stood up and raised their hand. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Did-
Did you create this song? Are you singing this song? I mean, it's the weirdest thing I've ever
Right.
heard.
Yeah. Yes, I did. Yes, I own it. It's mine. I've got one. We were playing a show at a comicon. We had just finished the next to the last song. And I'm like, all right, we got one more song for you. And somebody yells out from the crowd, finally.
Oh,
Are you serious?
I am so serious.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It happened.
People can be so rude.
Right? I mean, like, I'm not making you sit there and listen to us.
I mean, can't please everybody, but
Yeah.
I mean,
I know
the
that,
music
but
is awesome.
Oh, well,
if-
thank you.
Just,
But I mean, it's just, can we just be kind?
You would think.
I mean, if you don't have anything nice to say,
what did your mama tell you?
unless it's about the Veronica Mars
Hey,
And
second
then
and a half,
find her at a con
second and a half
and
episode.
lambast her
Yeah.
I'm gonna
for
have
her
people,
misdeeds.
I'm gonna have people coming up to me at cons now and be like, "Hey, tell us about Veronica Mars."
Yeah.
So what's the deal about Veronica Mars?
Right. And we here at Lost in the Funhouse do not condone bullying.
At all.
No,
We love Blondie, and she knows
Yeah.
that
they're
we love
just
her.
picking on
So-
me.
Yeah. We're
Yeah, it's
just
all-
picking on her. 'Cause
it's
we don't-
all
we
in
don't-
good fun.
Yeah, it's all in good fun.
Yeah.
We've been playing around all week, but yeah, bullying's bad. That's one thing I cannot stand is a bully.
And that's part of why I do the Scarecrow.
Yeah.
And
Positively
Very cool.
scary
Yes.
against bullying is the motto on the, positively scary is the anti-bullying slogan. You can hear more about that at antlerhillarts.com.
Be sure and go there. Great plug.
Shameless
Great
plug.
plug.
Yeah.
nice little
Thank
plug
you.
there.
Thank you.
I know my son, Brett, I raised him not to be a bully and this expert wrestler and
I love
everything
Brett.
else. And
I really do.
Brett was like the bully killer in school, I mean, he didn't cotton to anybody getting bullied. See how I threw that in there? Didn't cotton
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah. You raised
That's
him
what my
right.
grandpa used to say.
You raised him right.
Yeah, I
You really
tried.
did.
I tried.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
'Cause I would tell you if you sucked at it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't know
would-
what,
he would
I don't know
too.
what you did with that kid, but
What's wrong with it?
right.
No, he's a great kid. Well, what are some other ones we had on the list? Because we made a list at the con.
Oh yeah.
Some of the weird things.
So Great Bow.
Yes.
What time does the cosplay contest start?
Oh, I hate when people ask me that. Why would I know what time the cosplay contest starts? I mean, seriously.
Maybe because you're affiliated with the Caroline and Queen of Cosplay.
Yay!
Did he get it right?
He got it
Oh my
right.
goodness. I never get
Yep.
it right.
I can only do that because my wife made the logo.
There you go.
True story.
No, but I it drives me insane.
But it's not as quite as bad as excuse me.
You just have one
do
of
you
those
know,
faces.
Do you know where the bathroom is?
Really?
I don't get that one.
No, we've had some other artists that have asked us. They've told us that.
I've got a really good friend, and that's his really good friend, a really good artist. And he tells me all the time, he goes, why do I just have one of those faces where everybody comes up to my table and asks me if I know where the bathroom is? like he works for the con or the building,
he's
or
got that.
he'll come over and he'll say, "Man, I've had 15 people today ask me where the bathroom is."
And I still
no
don't
kidding.
know.
It's quite bizarre.
It is.
You know.
Oh, do you draw for anyone professionally?
Yes, I love that one.
Gee, let me think.
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting there surrounded by my comics
Right.
and stuff like that,
Look around.
and they'll ask me if I draw for anybody professionally. Now, the things we're saying, this is not common. These are really weird, out there every once in a while things. But now the one, did you draw these? Yeah, I mean that's pretty common.
Yeah.
And I know when somebody asks that, I mean, generally somebody's trying to come up with a way to engage and start talking.
Right.
So that one really doesn't bother me, but gosh, some of the ones.
It's not that these bother you. It's just
No, they
It's
don't.
I mean, I know we know it's just people trying to make conversation with
No,
us,
'cause there's
trying
nothing-
to break
there's-
the ice or something. But it's
Right.
it's just it gets comical after you've heard it 200, 300 times.
Right.
Well, and I've said this a million times, and it's true. I remember starting out in the 90s, and when I was first starting out, nobody knew who I was, and, I've been lucky enough to get, some little bit of notoriety, and now people come up, and when they ask me questions and stuff like that, I remember back to those times when nobody knew who I was and came up to the table and all that kind of stuff. And if it wasn't for the fans coming up to the table, regardless of the questions they ask, I wouldn't be able to get to do what I do for a living. And so I'm that's why I do so many cons. It about kills me as many cons as we do, but I enjoy getting out of the asylum, so to speak, and actually rubbing elbows with people and
Right.
talking, and I have fun with it. I have a lot of fun with it.
I've got one sort of on that note,
What?
on a more positive note.
But
I was at a convention, and this elderly couple came up to the table, and they were just looking at the table, checking it out, and he picks up one of our brochures
right?
about the Scarecrow and what it stands for. It's a South Carolina Association for Raising Education Concerning Restrictive Oratory Walls or Stuttering.
Holy cow! Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Really?
No, I didn't.
Huh. Well, yeah.
I've learned something today.
And inside it's got like famous people who stutter and tips on bullying and what you can do to stop it.
Didn't James
if you
Earl
see it.
Jones
Yes.
start out as a stutter? Mm-hmm. I thought
Marilyn
I read that
Monroe,
before.
Wayne Brady,
Wow,
yeah, a lot of people. Bruce Willis,
wow,
yeah.
that's crazy.
So he's reading it and he just starts crying,
Aw.
Oh,
like just right at the table. I'm like, what's he all right? And his wife is like, he has stuttered all his life, and this really means a lot that you're raising awareness like this.
That's awesome.
that's pretty cool.
And all the strange stuff that happens, it's like that's why I do it.
Yeah.
That right there.
It's that one comment in a sea of all the others, and I get comments like that about art, and when you hear that, it just completely blows you away and makes your day.
Right.
I was at one, I believe I was in Colombia, and I had and this was before Brett, my son, went into the military, and I had a guy who had he was home on leave, and he had come to the con, and he was going through my stuff, and he said he was a fan of my stuff, and I thanked him, and he started telling me about that he'd just come from overseas, and that a bunch of the guys, they can only carry so much overseas with them, and so a lot of them had a few of the comics and covers and stuff like that I'd done,
Yeah.
and had them hanging up
that's
in the
awesome.
barracks. And that just made me, I was so humbled by that. I mean, it just, there's just no way to say how humbled by that I was.
Right.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah. That
And it's
is.
always so cool when, like, young kids or the teenagers come up and they want to
Yes.
show you their art.
Oh, I love that. I love it.
They want to, hey, can I show you my art? And you always take the time to give them some pointers, show them little, little
Because there have
tips
been
and tricks
times,
and things.
there's been times when I've had so many people at the table, like lined up. Misty's over there getting everybody prints and things like that, and she's got them lined up. They're coming up to sign it and all that stuff. And I'm taking the time and talking with a kid or talking with a aspiring artist, and I enjoy that. I really do. It really refreshes me.
I mean, the way I see it, if you've gotten so far in your career,
Yeah,
and it's like that's what it's about is paying it forward.
I believe in that. I definitely do.
Because we're not going to be around forever,
Yeah,
and it's like especially artists. It seems that it tends to be very it's what I do, and
yeah,
it's not very open
right.
a lot of the times, I feel, and in all kinds of art,
All
drawing
across the
and
creative spectrum.
music
I see that.
or whatever. It's like, and I try to help as many people as I can if they've gotten questions about recording or instruments or whatever. I'm just someone who's worked hard to learn
Yes, you have.
what I've learned, because I didn't really have anybody to teach me.
Yeah. Well, I was the same way. I had a lot of really good art teachers, but there wasn't an avenue for learning comic art in our area, especially back pre-internet.
Right.
That's how old I am, guys. And, yes, laugh. So I'd always said, if I have any kind of little modicum of success, I'm going to come back and I'm going to, pay it forward, and I'm going to teach kids, and I'm going to do a class. And I do a class every Thursday for kids from about age 8 to just slightly out of high school. Every Thursday, because
Right. Yeah.
I didn't have access to that. And I remember too, when somebody comes up to my table, one of the reasons I take so much time is because I genuinely love seeing somebody's passion for art, and it takes a lot of bravery for somebody to come up and ask me or one of the other guys who draws professionally to kind of look at their stuff and see what's going on.
Because didn't you have a story about that when you were first starting and somebody told you?
Yeah, and I'm not going to say who it was.
Okay.
I'm not going to say who it was, but I'll tell the story. I was, believe it or not, at one time, I've never really been shy in terms of like cutting up, all that kind of stuff. But, and I've always been kind of boisterous and everything. But, my artwork, that was kind of a different thing. Cutting up, looking the fool, whatever, I was okay. But when I would take my artwork out, it was kind of like my soul.
Right, and that's
Anybody
what
who's creative
art
understands
is,
that.
you
Yeah.
know?
So I remember going down to Atlanta, Georgia, to DragonCon in Atlanta one year, and I had taken my portfolio down there. And this is back, believe it or not, youngsters. At one time, the big companies came to a lot of the cons, not just San Diego or New York Comic Con. They came around. They came to Heroes. They came to DragonCon, and that's how they found talent, because it's pre-internet days.
Right.
So when I walked in there and I had all my stuff and I was all unsure about it and everything. And I'll be honest with you, I left it in the car. Shouldn't have.
Right.
Always show your stuff, be proud of it.
Right.
Um,
Everybody starts somewhere, though.
Everybody starts
Even-
somewhere. You should
even
see
the
some of my
greats.
early stuff. It's horrible. But, everybody starts somewhere is learning. But at the time, since I was the one learning, and I understand it, guys. I understand the fear. So I left it in the car, and I went in, and the person that was standing beside me, we got up and met one of these guys. an artist who was drawing for, I can say this, he was drawing for Marvel. And I was sitting there and I was talking to him, and the person standing beside me completely outed me on this and said, "Oh, well, he draws fantastically," and left his stuff in the car. The guy went off on me behind the table, the artist.
Yeah.
And he was trying, I understand now in his own way, he was trying to, I guess, sink or swim kind of a thing.
Right.
Get me to where I needed to be okay with showing my stuff. But it was just really, I don't know. I mean,
Maybe not in the
it bothered
best
me.
way.
Yeah, it wasn't the best way. It wasn't the best way.
Because everybody's different. Everybody
is different.
Has a different path to get where they want to be.
But like she said, there's been times when people have come up to the table and shown me their stuff, and I've sat down and I've given, especially for kids, impromptu drawing lessons at the table.
Yeah.
So
And you even drew a picture for the one little girl that usually comes to see us at Heroes Con,
I love her.
and she always wants you to draw her a picture, and at the same time that you're drawing her a
Yes.
picture, she's drawing you one.
Oh, really?
And I have every one she's ever drawn me.
Oh,
so
that's
cute.
adorable.
Yeah, I
That's
keep these pictures.
adorable.
I keep these pictures. And one year at SC Comicon, I was there, and a mother brought her son up, and he was interested in drawing. And I worked with him a little bit at the table, and they were having an art contest, which was really cool for the kids. And he went over and entered the art contest. And so she brought him back the following year, and I was there, and he had drawn me a picture. And I keep
pretty
all of
cool.
those, yeah.
We do, yep.
Got every one in my studio.
Yeah, I have to go through and we clean out the con bag, and we put all those up
Yeah.
when we
put
get
'em-
back from the cons, because
Yeah, because I've got them all in my studio.
How do you still have wall space?
I don't. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's like a comic shop. At my house, it's like a comic shop and Planet Hollywood ran head on to each other in the middle of a twister. I mean, it's just everywhere. Crazy.
Gotcha.
And all kind of stuff like that going on, So, but speaking about stories,
I've got another one. Actually,
oh yeah, that's,
I was at a convention, and after a show, a woman came up to me and gave me an orange scarf, which it's hanging on the lantern right there.
oh wow,
And she explained to me that, like, orange is like the anti-bullying color.
oh, cool.
And it's also like the fight against cancer as well, or something like that. If I've got it completely wrong, but this was years ago. But orange, it's an orange scarf, and she gave it to me for my fight against the bullies.
very cool.
It gets cooler,
See, I would have handed you brass knuckles. But that's me. Go ahead.
right? But she then told me that she wore that scarf when she lost her hair from the chemo,
Oh, wow.
and that she's since beat it and is healthy now, and she passed it along to me for my fight.
oh,
That's
I'm
awesome.
I'm so thankful that she's healthy now.
Yeah.
I love
Right?
hearing stories like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So it's hung in my studio ever since.
Very cool.
Sometimes
awesome.
I'll wear it when we play, but for the most part, it stays safe because it's
You're
means
lucky
a
the
lot.
color was orange because it goes with your whole scarecrow dress.
right?
Because it could have been something like a really, really flamboyant hot pink.
Yeah,
or-
it could have been like fuchsia or something.
yeah, I mean, just something crazy.
Yeah, chartreuse.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're just going too far with these colors now.
Yes, Blondie. There's a whole spectrum out there.
2 words.
Hot pink.
Veronica, Mars.
Yes. Take 17. Listen, seriously, you ought to know how many colors there are because you made me this really cool. She made me the awesomest color pencil holder. I use those Prismacolor pencils. And she made me the most awesome. It's Haunted Mansion themed because everybody knows I love the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
And it's got the bat candelabra at the top of it. And she actually melted the candles down a little bit. And it's all Haunted Mansion themed, and it holds all of my Prismacolor color pencils.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I get creative every once in a while.
You need to decorate a guitar for me.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah, she could do that.
I'm serious.
I could do that.
Like if I just gave you a body, just a blank body, and just like
Well, if
do
you gave her a
whatever you want.
body, we'd ask questions. We'd be like, "Where?
No, you don't. No. You don't need to ask questions.
Hey,
It doesn't matter.
I'm just glad the thumping was coming from the, trunk and not from the hood.
I was going to question you about all that duct tape and lime you keep in your trunk.
I don't know what you're
hey.
talking about.
Duct tape will solve almost any problem.
It does. I mean, I don't
Almost.
know anything about that.
Sure you don't. That's your story.
So, moving on, I do have to have a new Blondie's corner for we'll call this like convention tips of the day. Just things I've come up with, or if you're an artist or vendor out there that's going to be going to the Comic-Cons.
Tips from the towhead.
Hey,
No.
we're still trying to figure out what that is, and I think
That's
you're
not a thing.
I can make that.
It's not gonna be a thing.
It's gonna be a thing because I can make it a
No.
jingle. How do you know I haven't already?
You probably have. That's what scares me.
We'll find out.
Hey,
If I find out this is something bad,
Hand me my banjo.
if I find out this is something bad,
Blondie, I thought of a really good job for you.
what's that?
You'd make a great umpire.
Hey, so mean. But anyway, this is my Comic-Con tip of the day for any vendors or artists that are going to be out there. And I told Greg Bell about this last week, and I don't know why it just came to me, but I was like, this would be a good one.
What did you tell me?
Yeah, see? You don't even listen to
I
me.
think we're all about to find out.
Yeah.
This is why I
Me
set
too.
this is why I set your table up.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Hey, Gregbo doesn't know how to work a tablecloth.
I don't.
Yeah.
I really don't. It's bad.
Yeah.
So, tip of the day. When you're going in to set up your table, you do not know who set that table up, especially if it's already there when you get to the convention.
Oh, yes. I remember you telling me that.
Take a look up under the table and make sure those legs are locked.
It's a really good tip.
Oh.
Because
good point.
if you don't and they did not lock the legs, this has not happened to us, but I have seen it happen. Because if you get all your stuff set up on the table and breakables or whatever,
Right.
Umbrellas.
and umbrellas.
Yeah. For the umpire.
Oh, God. I'm like, what?
Saying
Oh.
I hear a techno remix in the works.
I
think I'm
So,
joking. I am
let me-
not.
Let me get this tip out before the people get disinterested in what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm sure that happened about 20 minutes ago. Go ahead.
But if you don't make sure those legs are locked,
That was episode 2 when they realized it already happened.
You could be a fortune teller,
Right.
but for the past, you could be,
Right.
yeah, you could predict the future, but only things that happened in the past.
yeah.
It's
So-
not Veronica Mars. These guys are idiots. Little
But-
did you know you were right.
Anyway, the freaking table legs.
Yes. Okay, the table legs.
If
Spit it
you
out.
don't make sure the table legs are locked and you put all your stuff on top, and then either say overnight or even during the con, somebody says, hey, y'all, let's make some more room and let's move these tables down. You start just kind of sliding the tables across the floor.
And
like
it happens.
It happens.
Ooh,
And if
nice.
those legs are not locked, guess what's going to happen to all your stuff? It's going to go in the floor. So if it's breakable,
Hope you got stuffed animals.
yes. So that's just my tip of the day. Something that we have come across, and I'll be sure to be giving you more tips as we go along. But
Temps or tips?
tips.
Oh, okay.
I don't have temps. Tips.
Okay. Whatever works.
But if you listened to our last episode, you know
Which we
that
apologize for.
Yes.
oh God. We told you to send in.
Our research person was off. Did you just throw the pen across the room?
Wow.
I dropped it.
They're giggling again.
Yeah, you are.
sorry.
Nah, I love your giggle. Keep going.
The person doing push-ups doesn't.
There's somebody at a house out there listening right now, just sauced, just completely just drunk out of their mind. And then across town there's somebody that's like on a treadmill or something, and they're it's just looking like the Hulk.
But on our last episode, we asked you to send in your stories from Comic-Cons.
Yes.
Your funny stories.
And you did.
You have
Unique.
two.
Yes, your unique celebrity encounters, cosplay mishaps or adventures, and anything else crazy you just want to tell us about, related to Comic-Con.
All Veronica Mars emails should be sent to Blondie. So.
And you can also, if you find any corrections that need to be made, from the
I have one.
the Scarecrow,
I got 2.
from the Scarecrow or Gregbo, please send those in.
Towhead is a real thing. Look it up.
No.
Look it up. Look it up.
The pain.
But-
oh, the pain. What's that from?
Are we having another contest?
Are we
No,
having
I was
another
just
contest?
asking.
Oh,
Lost in Space.
Yes.
Dr. Smith.
Didn't know what was going on over there. I was trying to be quiet.
Go with Blondie.
Oh, you're... Okay. I wasn't sure what you were doing.
What is she doing?
I was looking.
Y'all,
at
we're
stuff.
trying to figure out what Blondie's doing in here.
Probably thinking Veronica Mars hasn't aired yet.
She's probably.
Hey, I'm over here watching Veronica Mars because I just found out it's already came out.
Hey, y'all wait till next episode. She's gonna do about this new upcoming film that she's really excited about called The Wizard of Oz.
I've heard about that. It was a great film. I saw it like, I don't know how many years ago.
What? No. All my research is down the drain.
Oh God, that's just wrong.
So
The term research is used lightly here.
Very lightly and incorrectly.
So
Air quotes for those who can't actually see my fingers.
He is doing air quotes.
the air bunnies.
Air bunnies.
Air bunnies.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's their thing.
Towheads and air bunnies and meth gators.
I'm
Oh
not sure
my.
about the air bunnies, but the meth gators and the towheads are real.
The meth gators are.
If you don't know about the meth gators, go back and listen to the last episode.
Which we apologize for.
Again, repeatedly.
All right, we've got to get on with this. So, we do have 2 stories that people have
Yes.
sent in to us. So, the first one that we have is from our friend RJ Foster.
Hi, RJ.
RJ, what's up?
So, he sent us in a story and he says, "My wife thinking I kidnapped Tippi Hedren. I had walked by her booth and she asked me to come over so she could look at my steampunk creations. I told her that we had a booth just 2 aisles over from her booth. She told her handler she wanted to go to our booth and shop. As she came out of the booth, I offered her my arm and she said she had not had a gentleman offer his arm to her in 30 years. She took my arm and we strolled to our booth. Upon arrival, my wife looked up and she told her cousin, 'Oh my God, RJ has kidnapped Tippi Hedren.' She shopped at our booth and bought a few items. My wife added a set of her trademark earrings for free. The next day, Miss Hedren was dressed like a red carpet event. When I walked by, she waved and showed me that she was wearing the earrings that my wife had given her.
Ooh, sweet.
Very cool. And if you don't know who Tippi Hedren is, she was the main character from Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
Oh, nice.
I think her name was Melanie. I think that was her name.
Good afternoon. See what I did there?
Yes.
Yes, I do. And
Wow.
And,
you just...
no,
Yeah,
no,
do.
I didn't.
It's like, yeah, I do. All right, whatever.
No, I was just sitting there.
Insert creepy music here.
I was just sitting there thinking about how many corrections Blondie's probably gonna have to make for next episode.
I don't know what you're talking about. What corrections?
I'm going to create a mail filter that takes everything that has a bullet list and sends it back to her.
So thanks, RJ, for sending us in a story. That was really cool.
Well, and the next one, I'll do number 2. This one's from Twitter. And it says, once I was at a convention and there was this blonde girl walking around in cosplay. She smelled as if she had taken a bath in Axe body spray. Really strange. At the Crippler Rules, #legends.
That's not right.
I'm just reading it here off Twitter.
That is not right. Are we going to have to tell this story?
So a shout out to @Crippler Rules.
Because he knows there is no substitute for soap and water.
That is correct.
None.
So that made absolutely
I'll let
no
you.
sense.
Well, I'll let you tell the story, and then it'll make sense.
Well, we've got to go ahead and tell who the Crippler is.
The Crippler is my son, Brett the Crippler Watson.
So, yeah, we've been together for 9.5 years now.
You're asking me.
I am
Wow.
asking you.
I'm
I'm just
hurt.
getting confirmation
A
there.
long time, guys.
Well, your research is shaky.
Well, touche.
So-
Touche.
I have known them
What does
for...
Veronica think about that?
We'll check it
We'll
out.
find out. We'll find out in season 2.
Will we?
Oh, I don't know.
Is there a season 2?
We've got to tell the story though. So I've known you guys for a while, and when Brett was
little
younger, for a little while, when Brett was younger, and we went on a trip to Charleston, and that was when he was using the Axe body spray all the time, and I always got on to him. I like Axe body spray is okay, you know, one little
Just
spray.
in moderation.
Moderation. But too much, I'm sorry, it stinks.
Tell us how you really feel.
It too much of it is not a good thing. So I have told Brett
Just
this
like
many
too much to the
times.
same podcast.
Yes.
Recorded it too many times.
Sorry, had to.
Had to be done.
Yep.
I'm sure we're not going to have Axe body spray as a sponsor now.
Not after your story.
All right.
You're driving sponsors away in
Right.
droves.
Especially Veronica Mars. It was in consideration, but not anymore.
But I had told Brett many times, you don't need to spray that much. It's too much. So we
He
had
doused himself with it.
Oh yeah, so he's outgrown that now. But
Good.
we went down to Charleston and we were getting ready. We had spent the night and we were getting ready to go walk around downtown Charleston. And right before we're fixing to leave the hotel room, Brett walks up behind me and just sprays me down from head to toe with Axe body spray.
Sounds like
I
something
mean,
you
she
would do.
stunk.
I was like soaked with this stuff.
I mean, she was
Oh.
pungent. I mean,
I bet
it
you were
was.
livid.
It
I have never
It reeked.
been so mad in my life.
She didn't speak to him for it was about an hour. And we drove into town, got out, walked. She got up and walked way ahead. and I looked at Brett and I elbowed him. I said, "Man, I'm so thankful."
Upwind.
Yes. So she's up way ahead walking. And then finally she settled down and came back. And, you know, Brett's just walking around with his hands in his pockets like, yeah, no. And then we went to the, what was it called? The Powder House down there in Charleston.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
And it's a little museum. It's an awesome museum. If you're in Charleston, check it out. It's this little small old powder house that they used to have and keep like the artillery and powder and stuff, you know, in the wars. And it's right there in the main walking district, right down there in Charleston. And so we decided we went in there. And outside they had one of those old pillories. And for
Yeah.
those of you who don't know what a pillory is, you've probably always seen the old in medieval movies or whatever. It's like the stocks is another word for it.
Yeah.
Where you put your head in, your arms through, and then you close it. The thing about Blondie is Blondie loves pictures. She's got to have pictures of herself.
Not of myself. You make that sound really bad.
It's of herself. Okay, so
I like taking pictures when we go places.
of herself. So so she gets in the stocks, right? And says, "Take a picture of me in the stocks." She says this to Brett. So that was your first mistake.
Yeah, it was.
So what'd Brett do?
He locked me in there and then walked off. But we've got
He was
many,
letting you
many
air
stories.
out of the Axe body spray
Yeah.
away from populated areas.
And she had just got over the Axe body spray incident.
Yes, and then I get locked in the stocks
course.
outside in Charleston as he walks off and leaves me.
And there's people walking around, tourists taking pictures of her.
What is that axe? What is that smell?
I think she's dead.
It was sad, but it was so funny.
But I guess we've got to wrap it up now. But don't forget to send us those stories, and you can send them in to our email, getlostinthefunhouse@gmail.com, or you can send them to us on our Facebook page. That's Lost in the Funhouse on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you can also find us
On Instagram and Twitter.
Instagram and Twitter, Lost in the Funhouse. And
Did you really?
What?
Hey, everybody, she forgot what she was going to say.
just got that part out.
We may get three
Had
or
some more
four
news about
ums in a
Veronica
row.
Mars.
No, I was going to say, and don't forget to follow our podcast.
Yes.
You can find us almost everywhere that podcasts can be found.
That's
I
right.
think we're everywhere
Yes.
now. We're on
spread
Spotify,
like a
Stitcher, Apple, iHeartRadio now, Google Podcast, YouTube. So make sure you follow our podcast, subscribe.
Are we in Google Podcast yet?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
And
Did you
subscribe.
research that?
Yeah. Subscribe and rate our podcast because that's how we get out and get more fans and grow our podcast. And don't forget to come see us. The next place that we will be is Soda City in Columbia, South Carolina. That's going to be August 10th and 11th. And don't forget, we've got buttons and the new Vampirella exclusive covers.
By me.
And don't forget our very, very talented music and editing podcast engineer,
The
wizard,
engineer of
the person who
train
makes us sound so awesome. And go and check out his stuff. That will be
The
Antler
person
Hill.
that takes out all the ums.
He removes all the so that you
tirelessly through the night.
you either don't get as many shots or you don't have to do as many jumping jacks. So
I'm gonna take all the outtakes and make a techno remix.
Oh, that would be great.
so
I'm
I
not
think
joking.
Oh, that needs to be,
No.
that needs to be available through
Yeah.
the website.
It's gonna be on
Facebook
YouTube
or whatever.
soon enough.
Awesome.
I guess that's it for tonight, guys.
All right.
All right. Well, I guess it's time.
Thanks for
We're
listening.
done. So I guess it's time. Get lost.
In the fun house.
Blondie, I thought of a really good job.
And